This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I am Tyler, the Superman of Blue. This is James, the Man of Steel Cole, and you are on the Krypton Report podcast. What is up, Mr. James?
How I had a good weekend.
Good.
That way.
Okay.
So
James had a good weekend.
Yes.
James weekend. Weekend for James.
Weekend.
So.
The Arnold was in Columbus, and it was a good time.
Yeah, and you didn't even tell me you were near.
I know, but I knew I wasn't going to have any time, so.
Yeah. It's okay. I forgive him. He's a busy man. But James, the only thing I have for news today is that Peacemaker won Best Comic Book TV Series. Where is it? Let me pull it up here. Hold on. Peacemaker is one of the best superhero TV series at the 53rd annual was it Saturn Awards? Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
And I was like, what did it go up against? Here you go. Gen V, Daredevil Born Again, Invincible, Ironheart, and Sandman. Well, Sandman kind of fell off and nobody... Now, my thing is this series or season? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I'm kind of curious, but Sandman kind of disappeared. Ironheart's not really a contender. Daredevil Born Again. Okay. Gen V. I've liked Gen V, but Peacemaker wins. So, yay, DC.
Yay. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's nice to see because, when it comes to superhero movies and media, for the most part, it's only the movies that get some sort of recognitions.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that there's something, So speaking of superhero, we recently talked about the Lanterns trailer. But the one thing I wanted to mention and bring up that we didn't is a quick history about live action Green Lanterns. How many live action Green Lanterns do you think there's been, James? Including lanterns. If we include lanterns, how many do you think we have?
Oh, if we include lanterns, okay. Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 5 live action lanterns who have worn a ring.
So let's go through our little timeline here. The first live action appearance of a Green Lantern. Okay. And I got to get the date because I forgot to write down the date.
I know you've actually got more because I didn't even think about little cameo appearances.
So here's what we have. We'll go through this because this is stuff you don't think about. Oh, man, my computer's being a pain in the butt. Well, anyways, it is Hal Jordan appeared in the Legends of the Superheroes special. Do you remember what that is?
I do. I do know what that is. I have never seen it. I wanted to watch it, but once DC Universe was gone, so was that. So I bet I could find it somewhere or on YouTube or something. But
it's like a special. It had Burt Ward and Adam West reappeared in it. It's kind of like a gag comedy show that has a bunch of DC characters all dressed up in comic accurate spandex outfits. 1979 is when that was. So that is the first appearance of Green Lantern, of live action Green Lantern. The second is kind of a trick because it would be the 1997 Guy Gardner that looks like Kyle Rayner from the now known but yet unknown failed pilot of the Justice League of America. So that would be the second live action attempt of Green Lantern. You with me?
Yes, sir.
The third is the tease that we get, if we count it, in Smallville when we see Alan Scott behind bars and we see like a shot of his ring.
Yeah, just the one holding on to the bar with the ring on it.
So that's like the first kind of tease. And like, all right, the next one would be 2011's Ryan Reynolds' big movie, Green Lantern.
So that makes 2 of my counted live action. Makes 2 out of what? What was that, 4?
Mm-hmm. Now, the next one, okay, I put on here would be the Arrowverse teases. Because in season 4, they tease Hal Jordan. And then later we get Diggle retcon to be John Stewart. And we tease him getting a green ring.
I don't know if I'd call that the Green Lantern though, because I mean that's all it is. We see a name Hal Jordan on a bomber jacket, and then
I'm counting them as one because they're both just teases. They're teasing us Green Lanterns. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm counting those both as just a tease together because it was pretty shady. I thought for sure it'd been awesome if you would have done in season 4 of Arrow, like on the flashbacks when he wasn't on the island, he met Hal Jordan, and then later on we see him meeting Hal Jordan again in modern day. Now that they're both superheroes. But anyways, the next one is the one that a lot of people don't know about. And that would be, drum roll. Good. Jade in Stargirl. So, yeah. Jade in Stargirl is the daughter of Alan Scott.
yeah, she possesses like the star heart within her.
But they do her more of like, it's different. I haven't watched in a while. I actually am planning a whole Stargirl rewatch. Because I just don't remember everything. But we see the lantern, we see the ring. Like, it's full on hardcore bad A. Like, honestly, it might be the best looking lantern footage we have ever gotten so far. Why is that, Tyler? Well, I'll tell you, James.
Sorry. No, my eyes just got like super itchy and I muted it so I could just go like, But no, I definitely want to check that out. I saw her introduction, but I never gotten around to finishing season 3 of that show. So,
because the next,
yeah, I do want to.
So the next one then would be Guy Gardner in Superman. Now,
and that's 3.
And then the last one being Lanterns.
Yeah, 2 on that.
Now, something that was pointed out to us, Brian, stated, like, the thing that made him upset in Superman was how Guy flew because he doesn't have the green around him like he's supposed to.
Right.
He's not enveloped in green. He doesn't have, that look to him like he's supposed to. And I'm not sure why they did it that way. But all I can say is they kept up with that in Lanterns, because we don't see, when we see the one shot of Hal Jordan flying, he doesn't
doesn't start glowing green.
So kind of a bummer.
Yeah. Well, with it still being a spacefaring story, once they go into space, they had better be glowing.
And I'll give them that
for that protection from the vacuum of space. I say that needs to happen. I understand the differentiating itself from prior Green Lanterns. Every other Green Lantern has lit up when they've flown, and it's been that way across all mediums pretty much. They're almost always glowing when they're flying in comics. They glow in animation, and even in the live action when he flew, it just it all glowed around him. So it's been a literal translation the way it's kind of been, but it's not like 100% the case. If you do look at some comics, sometimes the Green Lanterns are just flying. They're not like cloaked in a green aura when flying, but that's how many decades worth of comics. It's not consistent across every single one, but most media and most recognizably, they're always glowing when they fly.
And then the last 2 points I have is, someone pointed out that in the Lanterns trailer, Hal Jordan says they're all aliens. One of them's a squirrel. Well, he says, I'm human. They're all aliens. But Guy Gardner's not an alien. It would have been funny if the line played like, well, there's Guy. He's like, I don't talk to Guy. Nobody talks to Guy.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
It's just it's just a line for the trailer in that regard too, because like I said, they do kind of just lean into it. He's like, they're all alien. One of them's even a squirrel, and so they're just leaning into the whole fact that it's all the alien races. They exist there, so that's really cool. And we know we're supposed to see Guy in the show, so I can really see them having like a very contentious relationship that Hal would want to beat his ass at all turns.
So there's also, in 2017 and 2021's Justice Leagues, there is a Green Lantern that is present in the battle against Steppenwolf and Darkseid in the original past battle for Earth.
Yeah,
we see a Green Lantern. It's never given a name, but we see a Green Lantern. And then, just so it's notated, there was the photo of where Zack Snyder wanted Wayne T. Carr to be John Stewart at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he filmed a scene, but all we ever saw was the one photo of him, and that's floating around, and people are talking about it. I kind of like the idea of him showing up at the end instead of Martian Manhunter in 2021 Zack Snyder's Justice League. Because I've talked before in nauseum about my headcanon for the whole General Swanwick Martian Manhunter thing, that he wasn't actually Martian Manhunter until after BVS, but that's my personal headcanon. Okay, so speaking of BVS, it is the 10-year anniversary of BVS, James Cole.
That's wild.
Yes, it is. And we're not going to do a whole episode talking about it, because what we're going to do actually is we're going to do a live rewatch of the extended cut, and we'll talk a lot as we go through the movie. We are doing that Saturday, March 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, or New York Standard Time, whatever helps, sync up your calendar with that. But I do kind of just want to look back a little bit on it and talk with you and kind of give a little bit of a timeline of like BVS, because there was never a movie I think I was more obsessed with than BVS and probably Star Wars Episode 1. And, BVS had social media and I had money.
Before kids, right?
Yeah. So let's start this. So 2013, July, the sequel to Man of Steel as being a Batman and Superman film is revealed at Comic-Con, and the hype explodes. In August of 2013, Ben Affleck is cast as Batman. Then, in 2014, I believe in 2014 is when we got the full title reveal of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. That feels right. Because I remember hearing it on one of Kevin Smith's podcasts where they were kind of like ripping into it and talking about it, how long it was. And, the fact that the film was called Batman v Superman, not Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
And Zack Snyder had said like V, like a court case, and I'm like, okay, cool. Because I don't like the concept of Batman versus Superman. I just never have. And then we had the rumor, because originally the film was supposed to come out in 2015. Then there was a rumor that there were so many rumors and speculation. And man, did I follow every little rabbit hole the internet had to produce. Like Jenna Malone was Batgirl, Barbara Gordon in it. I'm trying to remember some of the other like major rumors of just stuff I went down the rabbit hole with. But they said that there was reports of the film being split into two. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
That it was going to be Batman versus Superman and then Dawn of Justice as the second part. But in 2014, we got the Superman suit picture of like him standing in the rain. The quote unquote sad Batman photo. And then, do you remember, like, because I have conflicting memories of trying to remember when the first Wonder Woman image was released.
When I actually don't know. I remember which one it was, and everybody was talking about how her colors were very dark and earth tone instead of red. It was very brownish, and the blue was like a very dull leather blue color.
Like I'm trying to let's see. Here, see if I can figure this out. And I just remember because like her color scheme was very brown. It says 7/26, so it was at Comic-Con in 2014. July of 2014. So it was right after I moved back up here to Ohio. And it's a very brown, golden color scheme. Because then if you look at Batman's, his was very black and gray, and then Superman's was him staying in the rain. And it was very blue hue of color and like blue and grays. So I remember everyone exploding. So July 3rd of 2014 is when we got the first look at Henry Cavill's BVS suit. And how are you doing at this time, James?
What, for BVS?
Yeah. We're in 2014.
Well, I don't know. You're talking exact years.
Dude, this is a 3-year hype and journey.
what I was going through during all of that time. So it's all just kind of like, I mean, my hype for the movie the whole time. I mean, I can't go year by year. I'm not gonna be able to tell you where I'm at with each release or pull or anything like that. I mean, just everything that came out, I was reading every article, every picture that came out. I was looking at every picture, Um, heck, that was initially, I think that it might have been even before that. Yeah, that was before we were. That was before I was listening to just about anything, any podcasts or anything. So it was all just only. It was only news articles. It was anything on Screen Rant, anything on social media. But everything was. I was just like really excited. I was so excited. I mean, Man of Steel was still is, my favorite live action Superman movie.
I hear you. I feel you.
So, and then the visuals, it's Larry Fong was coming back to work with Zack Snyder for Batman versus Superman. So I was like, oh man, that's going to look amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because around that time it was my ex, and then my kids were real little. So
True. So Tuesday, May 13th, 2014 is when we got the first Batman image of him standing next to the car. And there was the speculation where they were filming the opening African scene that was the Amazon camp. I remember people that, I mean, dude, I listened to so many podcasts. It was this, because I did a lot of driving for work, and it was just, I absorbed everything I could. I listened to so many podcasts.
Right.
It was ridiculous. Then in 2015, Solomon is born. In January. It's important because from when this movie was announced in 2013, like before this movie comes out, I have a kid who turns 1 year old. Because I mean, I was obsessed.
Oh, if you ask anybody, I was just completely obsessed with Batman versus Superman. Anything.
February 19th, 2015 is when Zack Snyder dropped the first image of Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and it was just the Unite the Seven, where it was very black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Look, there's a little bit of color. And, Unite the Seven was a big thing that never quite panned out the way I think that they wanted it to. And it was weird how much they pushed Aquaman for BVS. How much notoriety he got. And then in March, we got the teaser trailer. And I was one of the few people that went to the movie theater to see the teaser trailer. And after the teaser, we got to see the teaser with a little extra footage at the end, which wasn't much. But then we got posters. Little posters of a Superman and a Batman. And we got to sign up, and 1 year later, we got passes to see the movie 2 days before its release. So, like, for the press screening, Janine and I got to go for the press screening and see it early. So it was really great because I got to see it before any of the other hype or reviews or negative comments came out. And during that, we got like little pins. So it just really made a great feeling of seeing this film. July of 2015 was the trailer. the full trailer. But then March of 2016, the movie comes out. And it was divisive. And I saw it 5 times in theaters. I only paid for it twice, I think. No, once. I saw it free for the premiere. Then I saw it because I had gotten tickets to go. Then I saw it with my brother. No, okay. Saw it free. Saw it with my brother. Got it free because I used my rewards from like if you bought DVDs or whatever, you got a free ticket.
Yeah.
Went with work. And then, because we saw that advanced screening, a few months later, we got an invitation for a free screening of the extended cut. And Ginny and I went to the theater and saw the extended cut in theaters before they released it on home video.
Yeah.
So that was, I saw, and there was merchandise. And what's crazy is this movie is not made for kids. But there was toys of everything, bed sheets. I mean, there was merchandise for this thing. There was cereal.
Yeah, there was.
And the Superman cereal was good. We talked about that last year, with just put it out again with the new Superman logo on it, and we're good.
Yeah, we'll buy it again.
But it's crazy because this was not made for kids, but there was so much, merchandise for it. And then we have Superman that just came out, and the merchandise was very minimal.
Yeah, and this one was geared towards the general audience for sure. Kid friendly, absolutely.
But,
yeah, I mean, it comes out, it's divisive. I saw it on opening night, so I didn't see any preview screening or anything, but we saw it opening night. I don't remember if it was Thursday night or if it was Friday night, but we saw it, and I mean, I came out of it just loving the crap out of it. I basically from the desert scene on, it was like you saw that Lex was behind the whole setup. So the way that people complained about the movie, I was like, I don't know. I saw it in the theatrical cut, which I haven't seen since the theater. So I've actually wanted to just watch the theatrical cut to kind of see, because all I know anymore is the Ultimate Edition, pretty much.
good.
But I do know that coming out of the theater, like from the desert scene on, you're like, oh well, he's getting set up.
Yeah.
And same thing with Bruce and Batman, the way that went down. The only thing that I do remember so much more about the theatrical cut than the Ultimate Edition is that the theatrical cut was a Batman movie. The theatrical cut featured so much less Superman and even less Clark.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what I remembered most about that film coming out of the theater.
And we will talk more about this when we do our live watch, because we will dissect it and break it down much, much more. But I think, all in all, I think much like Watchmen, I think this movie was ahead of its time. It's not what people wanted at the time, what they really wanted for their first meeting of Superman and Batman on film. And I think that's what really threw people for a loop was, why is this the first time we're getting these characters together? And people, not always knowing that there's a history in the comics for it and all that. So, but we will talk more of that when we do our watch. Any other final thoughts on BVS before we move on? Can't believe it's been 10 years. I was obsessed with this movie. I watched it so many times when it came to home video. I think it was always on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's just 10 years. I can't believe it's been 10 years. And it does kind of suck because that was the moment after that was every step of the way was a course correction, you
Yep.
know? Every
was like
single
this-
step. It was one step forward, two steps back every time.
It was the it was the first film of what would be the DC EU, I guess we can call it that now. But and then like you said, after that it's, course correction, change, like Suicide Squad. And we'll talk about that later this year because we'll have the 10-year anniversary of Suicide Squad. And we'll go into that. It is worth.
It'll actually be cool to talk about Suicide Squad because we did that once before and it got all screwed up. It was just plagued with technical difficulties, and it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
but
we had a really good conversation, I think, with that movie too, and it just got ripped to crap.
If you go to our Facebook page and go under our calendar, you'll see where we have scheduled live watches and what movies we're doing this year. We'll be doing BVS, Supergirl, The Flash, Suicide Squad, and Green Lantern. I thought it'd be kind of fun to watch Green Lantern before Lanterns and watch it with the kids because I don't think they really remember it.
Well, you know what? I never hated that movie.
I think that movie just needs some re-editing. Like some re-editing in the story structure would help it. And I think Parallax should have been kind of like the Emperor in the sense of like Parallax is coming. Like he shouldn't have fought Parallax in the first film. It should have been like what's on the horizon.
Oh yeah, I mean Parallax is one of the biggest villains to the entire Green Lantern Corps. I mean, to all existence when it comes down to it. The Green Lanterns are just the ones to stop him. But yeah,
because it's like, where do you go after that?
Mm-hmm. All right, pause right there. I need to refresh my page.
And now it's time to go back to Krypton. So last month, the secrets of Krypton, that Clark learned that it was all implanted into his memory, his mind, and then he was going to go return to Krypton. And this was a 4-issue series. And, we're in that period, that really last breath of the Triangle era. Woo, I can't talk. With part 1 being written by Jeff Lowe with Ed McGuinness. Part 2 being by Joe Casey and Duncan. Not going to try it. Part 3 being by Mark Schultz and Doug Mankey. And part 4 by Joe Kelly and Kano. James, how did you feel about this book overall?
So, I mean, the story of it, of Cal and Lois going back to Krypton and seeing Jor-El and Lara and spending time with them, working side by side. They spent actually what seemed to be a period of time on the planet. I mean, not extended, but a short vacation stay, maybe a couple of days or something. But at least a couple of days, it seemed like. but the story of them being able to do that, and I thought that was fun. I liked the dynamic that was at play with the two couples at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But as it is, in the story, like it's like save the planet Krypton, Zod's coup at the time, Zod's coup at one time, and then it's before Cal is even born, and so like he's not even thought of. So this is all long before the actual end of Krypton. Even though like Superman and Jor-El quote unquote save Krypton from its decaying orbit in this story, but it's not something that actually like changes time.
Right. Like, I'll be honest. I not a huge fan. I mean, okay. I like the first issue. The first issue ends where what do you call it? The first issue ends where he passes out moving the planet. They're like, "Oh, if we can move the planet, then we can save Krypton." And one thing to take note is the Superman symbol is not the House of L symbol. Because when they go there, he doesn't have a symbol on his chest, but like when he rips open his shirt, there's no like, "Oh wow, why do you have this?" or anything like that.
Yeah. You're wearing our family sigil, my family sigil or something.
Yeah, it's really weird because he even calls himself Kal-El at one point, and they don't say anything or move or nothing till later. But I love the art. I love the story for the first issue. But after that, it just went downhill each issue. And then when it ends kind of like a, did it really happen? Was this real? We have this kind of going off in the distance of Jor-El and Lara as they transform back into more of the burn area Kryptonians.
Yeah, the way that they kind of faded like halfway back, I was like, okay, why is that the case right now? And the only semblance that something of it was real is Crypto.
Yeah.
Comes through the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, he comes through and he's there now. And I guess, we're at this time that this is how they reintroduce Crypto because they're trying to bring back certain elements that was cut out after post-crisis, And I even think this is before Infinite Crisis. I could be wrong. I could be right. So I think it's before. I think it's before. But I kind of thought, I was like, what was the point of this story other than to kind of bring back Crypto and give Clark an idea of maybe what Krypton was like? Oh no. But I feel that issue, let's see. The second issue I think was my least favorite.
Yeah, Infinite Crisis was 2005. This was 2001. So.
Okay. So Superman the Man of Steel number 11, which is the second part of Return to Krypton, was my least favorite part.
That was the third part.
Oh, sorry, the third part.
Yes.
The second part was Jor-El versus Atomic City, and that was Adventures of Superman 589.
Yeah. And you can definitely see our neo-fascist Zod here.
Yeah, and it's that Zod where he looks like he's wearing a very World War One German outfit. And we do get a nice shout out that Lara is going to fly the space shuttle ship. And but because we learned that Cal's floating out in space, and
So he used his heat vision, most of every ounce of energy he had to ignite the engine. That it's a engine similar to those that propel Warworld across space.
mm-hmm.
So it would be enough to push Krypton back into into a proper orbit or something, and so he expends all his energy using his heat vision to activate it, and he has no energy to return.
which is a bummer in the sense because now he's powerless. But that's the rest of it, and they find out that Jor-El and Lara went against the Science Council, so that's where Zod is rallying people on his side. And they send out these robots to take them down.
Eradicator assassins.
I was like, he says, Eradicator assassins. So this is Zod's opening gambit. Very well. Allow me to retort.
So
And
this is like Russell Crowe's Jor-El.
yes.
He's fighting back, like part of the resistance.
And Lois and Clark's belts are damaged. That would help them get back through the Phantom Zone. So there's our rising stakes. And then, like I said, the third issue, I don't know. It was not for me. But the first issue I love. I've become more and more in love with McGintis's art. It's just fun and lively, even though overly proportionate. The writing of Loeb. We got Mon-El when they were crossing through the Phantom Zone, and I forgot that they at one point called him Valor. And it's just kind of in a passing. He's like, Valor, is that you? Yep.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even know that they called him Valor. I was like, oh, was that a name he went by at some point?
exactly. You're just kind of like, huh?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we got Man of Steel, and this has kind of been the thing within this whole triangle area of the books, the way that a lot of them have told their own story. So this story actually stands out from all of the other triangle area books that cross over because it actually tells the story one chapter at a time. And it goes from one book to the next.
Mm-hmm.
But you can definitely tell the transition here with the artist, and then like the I don't know if you want to call it a steampunk sci-fi vibe.
I could see that. Yeah.
Because that's kind of primarily the thing with this one. They're wearing suits. So which actually gives people cause to call them Nightwing and Flamebird.
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. So that's kind of just a cool callback while on Krypton. I mean, a guy named Cruel. Cruel.
Yep.
Yeah. And then he's with Feora. So they're actually together in this moment. It's not Zod and Feora.
Yeah, and Feora is blonde.
Yes.
So that threw me off.
The only time she's probably ever been blonde.
I think so. And you know me and hair color.
Right.
Um, but yeah, this one ends. Um, it was kind of like, huh?
Yeah, like some sort of old beings of Krypton. Their life force kind of protects Lois and Kal-El and helps them collect the ore that they need for their belts to be able to get back through the Phantom Zone back to Earth. Um, and it must electrocute both Cruel and Feora, because neither Lois nor Clark do anything here, but they both get zapped, and
Yeah,
so
it was weird.
it was just a plot of convenience, really, you know.
And then the next, so it ends with like Lois saying goodbye, Superman, and like kind of collapsing in his arms. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the next book opens and it's Clark and Lois like on the run. And that was a little jarring. I was like, wait a minute. Where did we just leave them? So, it has How We Doing Smallville, and they're like in a snowmobile. It's Return to Krypton Part 4, Escape from Krypton.
Yeah. Well, they said they were going to the Antarctic, so, but we just go from they're wherever they are now. They're on the Antarctic, I don't know, continent of Krypton. So, like, how did they get there?
This is my second favorite art of the four.
Yeah.
For Zod. For Krypton. It's an all-out battle and war with Lois fighting next to Lara, and Superman, fighting against Zod. He calls himself Kal-El, and he says, Kal-El, has he taken you as his pet or something? Pathetic for an off-world novelty, he would risk his career, his family, my home. And he says, Krypton is my home too. I am Kal-El, of the House of El, and I've come home. Which kind of feels like duh if your last name, if you're calling yourself Kal-El. Like, now if he had just been calling himself Cal, and then at the end, I'm Kal-El, win something.
Yeah. Well, we also got 4 different writers on this, so.
Mm-hmm. And then Jor-El realizes, I'm your father, and gives him a speech. He says, where is that? He says, Jor-El says, Kal-El, is this real? Any of this? What I've gleaned from your being here? The portal, it's baffling it. Please tell me it's real. And he says, I came here asking the same questions. The truth is, I have no idea. I'm leaving with more questions than answers about my history, the place I came from. But one thing is indestructibly true. How I feel about both of you. I'm proud to be your son. And then the next thing, they're back there with Emil Hamilton. And then, like we said, Crypto comes running out.
And then, we kind of get this sort of Phantom Zone flash to Lara and Jor-El, and it's their new look and then their old look and then a blend of the two where she's pregnant, and they're kind of walking into the distance, and she says, or Jor-El says, a perfect dream, a perfect world. And then it says end in Kryptonian.
And I just don't know how I feel about it. I mean, how would this story have been if it was just Jeff Loeb writing it? like all 4 parts,
Mm-hmm.
how much more different would that have been?
Yeah, how more impactful would the story have been, and cohesive, uh, less of the tonal shift, primarily with book 3, but
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it at the end, because what did it really accomplish? Like, I mean, yeah, Superman got to see his parents, but he's like, he doesn't know if it was real, what Krypton is. At least you kind of, this in between stage of what really happened in the past, what Krypton is real. I don't know anything about the history of this, like if Loeb had an idea and then it got changed. So I don't know. I have a unique idea. I'll tell you off mic about a story. So,
okay.
but that's all for this book, and I don't know. Maybe I'll come back to it later and have different thoughts. But right now, I kind of was a little let down. I was excited to read this because I've really been enjoying these early 2000s comics, because I didn't read much at this time. I didn't start coming back around till like 05, 06, and then really heavy in 08, or well, 05, 06, yeah, because I went to college in 06, and there was a comic shop right around the corner from the college. So I started getting back into it real heavily then. But I do want to say, like we were talking earlier about BVS, that this year does mark a 5-year anniversary for Zack Snyder's Justice League. And that's really interesting. And I think 5 years is a nice mark. But we're not going to dive into it real hard right now. We'll wait another 5 years and go into the 10-year anniversary of the Justice League, of Zack Snyder's Justice League. So
I was gonna say we did do a lot of coverage with Zack Snyder's Justice League when it came out.
and we'll probably mention it next year when it's the 10-year from Justice League, and we'll look back at the whole folly of that film and what we got. And we'll just kind of do like a retrospective on just the concepts and what could have been. But it doesn't even feel like it's been that long, 5 years, But I was in my other house when, it was a couple months after that came out that we moved. But I remember it so vividly. It was back to being that excited like child, because just like BVS, I was obsessed with Justice League. And because Justice League was filming and everything, like the hype just kept rolling into each other, because we got the Comic-Con trailer footage, like for the Justice League later in 2016. So, and I studied that footage. I was obsessed. But I'm Tyler. This is James. Thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. If you have any ideas, hit us up on our socials. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what, anything about DC Comics. If you want to chat with us, we're on YouTube, X, Blue Sky, Facebook.
We're not on X anymore, are we?
We're still there. I'm whittling it down.
That one down because it was something happened on there or something.
I'm whittling it down. It's just there's so many contacts and stuff that's on there. I'm trying to move things more to Threads. So there's still just a lot of connections there that I'm trying to make sure we have on as we change. But yeah, we're trying to get off there. Just don't want to drop everything until I know we've secured our place.
Gosh.
But check us out, hit us a message, and remember,
look up in the sky!
Thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going, and in return you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or a message.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a bird. It's a plane. Enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.